From our studios in Atlanta, this is CBT News. Today's show is brought to you by the Joe Verde Group. And here now, Bridget Fitzpatrick and Joe Gum.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to CBT News. Today is Friday, September 23rd. We appreciate you joining us today. I'm Joe Gum. Bridget is on assignment. All right, it is Friday, so that means we will be taking a look back at this week here at CBT News, where we discussed several key topics and gave you plenty of sales takeaways. This week, we told you how to secure your sale with women car shoppers. And we discussed a study that tells us what car shoppers are using as their information sources. We also told you about what car brands ranked best in customer experience, and we discussed if auto sales could be sustained at their current near record levels. Now, if you've missed any of these great stories this week, you can always go back right here and type in the name or topic and pull it up in our search box. All right, real quickly, we want to talk about the CBT Automotive Conference and Expo. That's right, it's coming up right here in Atlanta, March 7th through the 9th. Early bird tickets are on sale right now, so don't miss out on talking to one of our expert trainers that you see right here on our network. And you'll also, of course, hear from our awesome keynote speakers like New York Times bestselling author John Acuff, Google's Peter Lito, and so many more. So make sure you check out our website and register for the event at cbtconferenceandexpo.com to stay up to date with announcements and special pricing for the conference. Again, that's cbtconferenceandexpo.com. All right, this week we told you about a car dealership that had a promotion so big in June it shut down its dealerships. The goal? Sell 3,000 vehicles in 1 month. And as Tim Bergstrom, president and COO of Bergstrom Auto, explains, it was more about making it a community-involved event rather than trying to hit a goal, but they did both.
Our philosophy has always been do what's right for our guests, take care of our guests, and the only way we can do that is by having a great team focused on them. So many years ago, even predates me, my father was looking at sales opportunities. He's a marketer by training and has always been in the car business. And he came up with the June 250, and he pitted two of our stores against each other. At the time, we had two Chevy stores, and they were both trying to sell 250 and have a lot of fun with it. And lo and behold, as time has gone on, it's developed into more. And we, on average, sell about 2,000 cars a month. And every June, we took it to June 3,000, and our team revs up for it. We have a huge kickoff event. We rent a performing arts center right in one of our cities that we have dealerships in. This year, we brought our entire automotive team. Service, parts, body, everybody, all 1,600 strong, packed up. In previous years, it's been just our variable operations team. But since we're in it together, we thought we would actually close the stores during retail hours for 3 hours for us to get together. It's the first time we've ever closed during regular business hours. And we went after it.
And people are going to be a part of that. You guys had more than 14,000 entries. You put it all over social media. How important is social media to Bergstrom Auto? Because I know in the past we've talked about participating in that and taking advantage of that. Some of that free.
Yeah, so I think social media is kind of a way of life for 90% of the population now. I think if you took the negative connotation out of it and just say it was a way for people to stay connected and get their news source and get their information, you could then look at the positives to it, and that's what we've done. So we've enlisted our team, we've enlisted the community, we've enlisted our talents to take the benefit of people cheering for us to be a successful company, to be a successful employer, to be a successful retailer, and find the good in it. So we started sharing a lot of the message that we were in position, we could still do it, but it was going to be tough. And I was trying to figure out how we were going to tell the world that we got it done, but we needed an extra day or two to do it. And instead, our team responded, our community responded, and the final 2 days were our best sales day in the history of our company, and our team dialed it in. And it was fun because there were some stories to be shared there too.
All right, once again, congrats to them on that goal. A lot of dealerships hit goals like that with promotional events, so Congrats to Tim and his crew. All right, this week we also discussed an event where speakers show you how to drive more sales and retain more loyal customers. It also focuses on the path to sale and understanding the avenue to that path. To get more details, we spoke with Deidre Borrego from J.D. Power. She filled us in on the marketing event of the year. October, Las Vegas. You can't get any better than that. We just discussed that a minute ago off the air about this is going to be the premier marketing event. Dealers watching right now, tell them why they need to show up to this thing and the importance of having an event like this.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's really a great event. We're proud that this is the 11th year of the event. It's the largest automotive marketing conference for the industry. And a couple things really make it a great event. And we work very hard to come up with relevant content. And a lot of those suggestions on that content come from attendees from prior years who are gracious enough to really partner with us on submitting ideas on topics they'd like to hear about, topics they might be able to speak about, and ways that we can keep the conference fresh and exciting every year. Also from a dealer perspective, 2016 is a really interesting year. Definitely a lot of bright spots, definitely some changes in some of the market dynamics. And we're going to use a lot of our information to actually give dealers and all attendees a really great overview on some of those key trends in the industry and what to look for heading into 2017.
Now, you're the MC of this event. You get to be there and introduce all these great guest speakers. Can you fill us in on who's going to be there? I
am. I think secretly I have the best job of the gig because I get to see all the content as it's being created. I get to stand up there and introduce our speakers and really interact with them and our audience. A lot of great topics. We have some wonderful speakers this year. Erwin Raphael, who's the general manager of Genesis from Hyundai, will be speaking. Obviously very exciting, some of the things that they're doing on the luxury end of the market. We also have Dean Evans from Hyundai participating in one of the panels, and just a lot of other really great speakers and guests from across the industry. From the retail standpoint, we also have Bo Beckman from Galpin Motors, a very successful retail organization, sharing some of the things that they're doing. So that's just a preview of some of the many exciting speakers that we have attending the event.
All right, great information from Deidre. Make sure you go back and check out the entire interview from today's show. And of course, we'll be out there covering that event. It's the J.D. Power Automotive Marketing Roundtable, October 25th to the 27th at the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. Registration at jdpower.com. All right, just how tough do you think you are? Well, have you battled the state in a lawsuit regarding your dealership, or have you had to unwillingly close the doors to your dealership? Well, in 2009, Chrysler announced it was closing 789 stores out of 3,200 dealers as part of bankruptcy restructuring. The Obama administration's automotive task force felt GM and Chrysler had too many dealers, including a dealership belonging to Colleen McDonald. Like others, McDonald fought hard to be reinstated, and after a 6-year legal battle from arbitration to the Supreme Court, McDonald won the right to reopen with a process that wasn't easy. She told us all about it. Check it out. Why did it take 6 years to fight back?
Well, we won our arbitration in 2010, and at that point, Chrysler decided to file in federal court that we wouldn't be able to reopen due to the 6-mile rule, that we were too close to any other dealer in the area, which is now changed to 9 miles. In the midst, they changed the law of the state of Michigan. So that's why they fought us so hard, and therefore it took that many years to go through the federal court system. It was held up in Michigan, the federal court in Michigan, for nearly 3-4 years, and then it went to the Court of Appeals in Cincinnati, and then finally the U.S. Supreme Court back in 2015.
So it was a long, hard battle, but you came back. So now you get word that you're going to reopen. So tell us about the process of getting some of those old employees back. What was the first thing actually that you did? And if it was getting the employees back, you can address that. But what was the first thing you did besides probably cry, cheer, yell, scream when you found out you were finally going to be able to reopen?
Well, obviously it was a nice victory, the final victory. We've had little victories along the way. So we celebrated, our little mini victories with the Cincinnati Court of Appeals, and then finally when it was the U.S. Supreme Court deciding not to hear our case. And then what we did is, when it comes to employees, I had kept in touch with a lot of our employees through my personal Facebook page, so they all knew what was going on every step of the way. And luckily for us, we were able to keep over, half of our staff here is all old employees from one of our 3 stores. And almost all of our key managers are back. salespeople, mechanics, parts department. The write-up area is all from one of our 3 stores. So we've been very blessed to get a lot of our people back.
Welcome the family members back into the fold. Okay, so not selling a certain brand of vehicle for 6 years, that can make some people nervous. How did you guys go into it knowing, all right, we used to sell these vehicles, but with all the bells and whistles, things have changed, obviously?
Well, Chrysler has a very strong when it comes to training, and we've always been really high on training, and you just have to get your people enrolled in the classes that they offer and make sure that you learn these vehicles, learn the steps and the processes when it comes to the back end, how to fix the vehicles. So we're very well trained already. In 10 months we've done a very good job with training, and it's an ongoing process. It never ends. You're always training with Chrysler and any of the manufacturers. But we take it very seriously.
Okay, so Colleen, obviously with your background, with your father and the owner of those dealerships, you knew that community. Tell us how they embraced you when you guys came back.
Well, for starters, before we even came back, I will say that the city of Livonia was instrumental in us winning our arbitration. The mayor testified on our behalf, the chief of police testified on our behalf, and we were so excited and so happy that they would be willing to spend their time to do all of that. And when we won arbitration, they did whatever we could to make sure that our buildings were back up and running. We had to do a huge remodel, and the people at the city of Livonia were so good to make sure that everything went quickly. There was no red tape for us. They said, hey, here you go. We followed all the rules, but they did it very quickly for us, and we couldn't have done it without them. And the people of Livonia, not a day goes by that a customer does not come in here and ask to see me or my husband and say, hey, we are so happy that you're back. We missed you guys. Good luck to you. And though they may not be buying a car today, the next time their lease is up or whatever have you, they would give us the opportunity. So we've been so blessed and so happy with how they've embraced us coming back to the community.
All right, congrats to Colleen's team for the reopening and all the success to come. And we wrapped up this week discussing if your dealership is providing a seamless, clean communication process with your fixed ops customers. Kai Nielsen, Director of Strategy and Business Operations with DealerTrack, talks about the current influences in fixed ops. Take a look.
If I have to boil down all the things that are happening to kind of 2 things that I think have the biggest influence, especially in fixed operations, I'd look to Omnichannel Commerce and digital proliferation. And those are big, fancy words that we could probably get stumbled up on, but at their core, they're very simple. Omnichannel Commerce, especially in fixed operations, think of it this way. It's the ability for the dealership to have a consumer that's probably on their website and scheduling an appointment that goes all the way through the repair process and future communication from the dealership, providing that communication in a way that's seamless to the customer. So whether it's in an email, in person, or over the phone, that communication is seamless and it doesn't have a disconnect. So the customer has a clean experience through the entire process.
And doesn't it start with trust and transparency?
That's the key.
Yeah.
If you look at some of the stuff that's happened on the front end of the business over the last several years, I think there's been a lot of transformation there, and consumers are demanding a process that's a little bit different than what we're used to. I think that's so applicable and relevant to the fixed operations side of the business right now. You hit it on the head. Transparency, trust, ease of going through a process. Customers want an effortless experience. I think those are the key things that we need to be focused on over the next several years to stay successful.
Another E word, efficient. I think they want that as well as far as time management. From your perspective, what are the 3 biggest challenges right now that you're hearing from clients?
In my role, I get the opportunity to speak to the industry often. I get to speak to our customers. I was just with our client advisory board for the last several days. We have a board of dealers that we use as a sounding board.
Which is important.
It's key, right? I mean, what are we doing as a business unless we're driving value to our customers and getting feedback from our customers? And one of the things that I hear over and over that is a challenge is hiring and retaining talent. That remains a challenge in our industry. No surprise. There's a shortage of skilled technicians, service advisors. The other thing that I'm hearing from our customers is they're excited about technology, and they have all these systems that they've put in place, but they're struggling a little bit trying to figure out how to put them together in a way that goes back to that omnichannel commerce we talked about just a minute ago, in a way that's seamless and effortless for their customers.
Okay, so if you missed any of these stories or any other conversations this week, you can always go back anytime and watch them on demand right here on CBTnews.com. In the meantime, we want to give you a preview of F&I Today with Becky Chernick. Today, Becky sits down with Chris Walsh, a retail automotive expert, on the topic of the F&I process changing for millennials.
Most sales managers, the only thing they can offer to the internet department is get them in the door, sell the appointment, just get them down here. They got to drive the car. And I think if you mystery emailed 100 dealerships this afternoon, 98 of them at some point, the bulk, the gist of their response to you would be, can you make it today at 4:45 or tonight at 6:45? You know, selling the appointment. A lot of times the customer, especially the millennial, they're not ready to come in yet. And if that is your only intention, when can you get here? I can't give you numbers. You got to come down. My manager told me you got to come down for your best price. Sooner or later, they're not going to engage with you anymore. They're going to go somewhere else.
All right, once again, F&I Today with host Becky Chernick right after this show. Check it out. All right, when we come back, we're going to give you a rundown of our weekly shows and a progressive retail preview with Corey Mosley.
Are you selling 8 to 10 cars per month and you want to increase that average to 12 to 14 cars per month? Let me show you how. Every Monday on Straight Talk with David Lewis.
All right, so there's a lot more going on here at the CBT Automotive Network. Every day we bring you an episode of one of our weekly shows. On Mondays, we bring you an episode of Straight Talk with David Lewis. Tuesdays, we have our Service Center Weekly Tune-Up with Jeff Cowan and the Tom Stuker Show with host Tom Stuker. Brian Pash hosts Auto Marketing Now, and Mark Tewart hosts the show On the Mark every Wednesday. On Thursdays, we bring you Kane & Company with David Kane. Fridays, it's F&I Today with host Becky Chernick and Progressive Retail with Corey Mosley. This week, Corey sits down with TrueCar's Carrie Wise to discuss how their programs are an asset to dealer brands.
It has to be a balanced marketplace for that to work, right? So we have to set proper expectations for the consumers, which is one of the things we're changing, and giving them more localized pricing in terms of our price curve that we show to consumers. But also removing that dealer list page, which really focused mostly on price and didn't give the dealer an opportunity to brand themselves.
Right.
So we're shifting it from that philosophy, and while we'll still be focused on giving the consumer an upfront price from one of our certified dealers, we also want to give our dealers an opportunity to show their branding, their value beyond just price.
All right, to hear more from Corey and Carrie, make sure you check out the show right after this show. And of course, on Saturdays, we pump you up for that big weekend of sales with Saturday Morning Sales Meeting with Corey Mosley as the guest this week. Now be sure after today's newscast to check out Car Biz Today magazine right here on the site so you can get more insight from industry experts and insiders. And while you're online, don't forget to connect with us on social media for more CBT news, highlights of our shows, interviews, and so much more. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. All right, I'm Joe Gum. We appreciate you joining us today. We'll see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend of sales.
Thank you for watching the official news source of the retail automotive industry, CBT News. Today's show is brought to you by the Joe Verde Group,